glasses and point this down towards a surface so that it doesn't shoot back up and hit you. Then you take your round nose pliers and you bend this at a 45-degree angle. And then turning your hand upside down and allowing the pliers to do all the work, you roll this around and you make a perfect little loop that sits directly on the top.
Let me just say this, as somebody who makes jewelry, Becky, you're a genius, because that is the best way to make your loop.
Thank you. Yes, it's important, and it looks really professional when you do it that way.
You're a pro.
Thanks.
All right, so we're going to build all of these charms, but you've got some different techniques here. This is not a key pin.
No, this is an eye pin. This is a head pin, and this is just a piece of sterling wire that has a flat head on the end of it, and that holds your beads on. And we're going to assemble this little angel charm, which is something that's really sweet. So I've got a little drop-shaped crystal that I'm going to use for her dress, and then her wings go on
next. And I think
next.
it's really important to keep in mind when you're building a charm bracelet, any kind of a dangle piece of jewelry that has dangles on it, every single stem doesn't have to flop. That's not what gives it movement. What gives it movement is the bulk of it.
Right, and the fact that they're all a little bit unique from each other. And that's the fun part of creating it, is that you're not making something totally symmetrical. You can just kind of have at it.
Right.
Do whatever feels good.
Sweet.
So there she is. There's our little angel, and she's very precious. And then you would do the same thing as I showed on this, cutting this off and twisting it properly.
Oh.
The other thing
Really
that's really
great.
important when you have this many charms on here is to have some of them where all of your large beads aren't down at the bottom, otherwise your bracelet will start to clump a lot. So in this case, we would be putting a smaller bead towards the bottom and our bigger bead in towards the middle.
And I love that you've added the detail of framing your glass bead.
Yeah, and this is a very special glass bead. These are handmade lampwork beads by Luann from Island Bead and Box, and she's made these beads especially for these bracelets for me.
Well, aren't you special?
Yes, and so is she. We love her.
Oh, they're
so
gorgeous.
This is a completely different shape,
Right.
and one that really frames and highlights that bead well.
Beautiful.
So after you have all of your charms and dangles assembled, then you would take them and lay them out on a surface, arranging them so that they look nice to you.
And you want to keep in mind not to put all of your heavier stones towards the end or in the middle.
Exactly.
You want to space that out.
Yes, exactly. Space them out and adjust your colors so that you have lighter and darker next to each other. The little glass pearls work really well for that, for bringing in a lot of light. So after you've done that, then you start assembling the actual bracelet. And it's really important to not put one of your dangles on the very first loop next to your clasp, otherwise you have no room for your fingers to get in there.
Right.
So you do this by just opening this loop again. And again, you need to be really careful that you bend it to the side and not pull it open. And you just start attaching this to the loops on your...
No jump rings here. So then once you attach all of these beautiful charms, you end up with our beautiful, charming bracelet. Thank you so much, Becky.
Thank you, Jackie.
You rock. Coming up, some great tips to care for your lovely crystals and much more. Welcome back. First of all, I really want to thank all of my guests who helped me sparkle today. I love to work with crystals and wanted to share some of my tips on how to store and take care of them with you. Like, did you know that sometimes storing crystals in cotton can have a disastrous effect on these babies? It can. It can sometimes disintegrate them. Trust me, it happened to me. And it's a lot better to store your crystals and other jewelry in this fancy plastic bag. You know that jewelry cleaner that sells for $5 a bottle? Keep your money and check this out. It's about 50 cents worth of ammonia and water. And if you want it to look like you spent $5 on it, just add a drop of food color. And while we're on the subject, certain gems should never ever be cleaned with a cleaning solution like this. Pearls, lapis lazuli, and opals are way too porous and should only be cleaned with a weak solution of good old-fashioned dishwashing liquid and a soft cloth. Amber is another material that needs to be treated with care, so if you don't clean it frequently, the oils from your skin will build up and wear it down. So clean it like pearls and make sure to store it in our little friend, the plastic bag. Even though jade is strong enough to have once been used as tools, it still needs to be handled gently, so use a simple polishing cloth to keep its shine nice. And while we're on the subject of your fine jewelry, you should always have the prongs checked on your engagement ring at least once a year. The last thing you want to do is lose that stone that's so precious to you. This might sound like I'm stating the obvious, but if you're doing heavy work, take your ring off and store it in a safe place. If you missed any of that, check out our website at DIYnetwork.com. That's it for us. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep sparkling.